Hey, this is Drake from the Unspoiled Hunter here. Hey, I'm here in Dalton, Georgia. Right now I'm in my hotel room. I just finished up at the Mobile Hunters Expo. I've been there pretty much all day long today, talking to people, looking at new products, learning things from people. There's a lot of cool stuff there. If you are within a drivable distance to Dalton, Georgia, I highly recommend at some point checking out the Mobile Hunters Expo. All kinds of cool stuff you can see there. Today they reeled me in with a really nice platform for saddle hunting. It was pretty pricey, well above what I would recommend the average hunter start out with. But the cool thing about it is that it is a platform that kind of combines a climbing tree stand and a platform for saddle hunting all in one thing. And then you don't need any climbing sticks. So it replaces the need for climbing sticks and a platform at the same time. And I've already been looking for new climbing stick. I hate the climbing sticks that I have. I just have some cheap Hawk climbing sticks that I've never really liked. They're heavy, they're bulky, they're clamped together. I've never really liked them. I've only used them a couple times. And the platform that I have was not impressive, right? So I've been wanting to replace that equipment at some point, and to buy sticks and to buy a platform would have cost pretty close to the same as this climbing platform. So I'm very glad that I went with that product. It was called Panther Platforms, and this is a really cool new one. It's not in production or fully in production yet, so I was putting in a pre-order for it. Should be here early September, they said, which is cutting a little close because my favorite hunting spot opens September 15th. So hopefully I get it before September 15th and I can give a little practice in on it before I actually start hunting with it. If not, I'll just use my climber for the first part of the season. But it was a really cool product. They even had some fake trees there that I could climb up on it and practice it out, do some rappelling with it. I'm really excited to try out that thing. Again, it's called Panther Platforms. I'll post a picture in here so you can see what it looks like. They give me a free shirt too. You know, spending that much on a platform, they give you some free stuff. So they gave me a free shirt, gave me a free hat. Cool. Anyways, Panther Platforms, that was the big thing that I got today. Super excited about that. Also bought a hat from this thing called Antlers 365, and they gave me a free koozie. Why not? Orange hat. I always use orange hats. Always good to have some orange gear. And then I also bought a book here from Bobby Worthington called The Final Quest for Phantoms of the Forest. And that book's about, going to get those really old age class deer, those 5.5-year-old bucks who have been surviving, avoiding human hunting pressure for 5 years, and just how difficult it is to find that kind of a deer. That kind of hunting's well beyond me and my capabilities right now. It's well beyond even my target audience here, but I'm gonna read it, see if there's some good stuff in there that I can take on board and at least apply to the type of hunting that I'm doing right now. I will do a video later while Bobby Worthington was talking. I was taking notes. He had some great lines, some great words of advice. On my phone, on the notes app, I filled 4 pages of quotes from him, and they're not perfect quotes. I did my best to write down the gist of what he was saying. They're not perfect quotations. Some of them are kind of paraphrased, but yeah, I think I learned a lot from that guy. I'll do another video here in the future. I'm just gonna read off some of those quotes of words of wisdom that I got from Bobby Worthington in that seminar that he did. And then MSU Deer Labs also did a little seminar. Learned a lot about that. He really went into talking about their tracking of deer throughout a season, talking about how moon phase affects deer movement, how weather affects deer movement, and he showed the actual percentages and how, in his opinion, moon phase has little to no effect on deer movement, and that the percentage of change is hovering around 0. He kept bringing up how a lot of people hate when he says that, but hunt the way you want to hunt. Hunt the things that you think are going to give you all the advantage you can get, because like Bobby Worthington was saying, is hunting is a game of math. It's a game of stacking your odds in your favor so that you have the best percentage odds of seeing the buck that you're looking for. Again, not a perfect quote. I'll do my best to quote that one a little bit better later. But if you think that moon phase is going to help you, then stack that in your favor if that's what you think you need to do. But ultimate conclusion from that whole thing was talked about different amounts of movement during the rut and different excursions that bucks would go on, and just how big their range becomes while they're in the rut. So anyways, I learned quite a bit from that. Enjoyed the Hunters Expo quite a bit. Talked to a lot of people, learned some stuff. Asked some questions of the guys at the MSU Deer Lab. His name was Dr. Strickland. Sorry, I'm trying to remember all the names of all the people I talked to, all the things I did. The question, so he went in a little bit about buck bedding and like how many beds a specific buck would have, and like showed on the map where they were bedding. And he talked about how if you compare a place like Iowa, where it's all farmland and empty and there's no tree cover, and then you take a place like here in the southeast where everything is cover, there's so much cover everywhere. He called it a cover dense environment. And he was showing how bedding works in that cover dense environment. And I raised my hand at the end and I asked him the question, so you talked about that cover rich environment. How do you find where the bucks are bedding if you have that cover rich environment? And basically what he said was he went into looking at the following along a river. That's one way that you can find some bedding, is if you can find the tucked away positions up against a river, as long as it also has the additional bedding cover that they're looking for. And then he mostly went into just find the more cover within the cover, the screening cover, he called it. And that's exactly what I've been doing. That's exactly what I've been looking for. And then the other question I asked him was, what are you physically looking at when you see a buck bed and knowing that was a buck bed, or that was where a deer had bedded down? And what he said was relative to the other vegetation in the area, that you have some vegetation that's pushed down in some way. And unfortunately, that is the answer that I thought I was going to get. I was really hoping that I would get something more obvious, right? Like, oh, you're going to see fur in it. You're going to see rubs that do this in this specific way, and they're all going to center on one point. And it's going to be the super obvious sign that you got to find, but it's not. It's not the super obvious sign. It's literally just, it looks like something laid down there. And that's it, which is kind of what I thought. I was just hoping, maybe I could gain some easy to see sign that's a lot more obvious than just push down vegetation. But if that's the answer, that's the answer. So I'm gonna utilize that knowledge. It was while I'm recording here, I'm using a new product that I bought as well. I'll throw in a picture here of their booth and what they're called. It's basically a clamp where you can clamp this little system to a tree branch, to a tree limb, to whatever, and then it holds your phone up. So I'm using that right now. I've got my phone mounted in that, clamped against a lamp over here. So that's a pretty cool product. I bought that so that I can start recording some hunts. real easy with my phone. And that brings up, I talked to some of the guys from the Southern Outdoorsmen. I was a little starstruck at first because I'm like, man, I listen to these guys all the time, and now here they are talking to them. I'm shaking their hand, talking to them about hunting. And a guy asked them about how to get started filming hunts, and the biggest thing he said was keep it simple. Start with something that is easy. You don't need to go out there and get this super expensive, heavy filming equipment. Instead, just go get something that's real simple and start recording on your phone. And if you want to move on from there and get something better, you can. And so that's what I did. I got this thing is $60. I think maybe they're $80 online. This clamp that I'm just going to clamp my phone into and start recording some hunts so that you guys can actually see some hunts. When I do get some good video footage using this product, I'll mention them a little bit more. It's called, let me check, what was it? So the product is called Saddle Eye. Sorry, I had to go look that up. I couldn't remember what it was called. Their original setup is actually to be clipped into that bridge of a saddle. And now this year they have this tree clamp. I decided, since I don't always saddle hunt, sometimes I hunt in different ways, that I went with the tree clamp because I can use it in any scenario. See, look, I'm using it right now, and I'm not even in the woods, I'm not even hunting. So I found that product way more versatile, a little bit more useful. So anyways, I've been here at the Mobile Hunter Expo, learning some stuff. I'll do another video here in the future where I just throw out some quotes of stuff that I learned from the guys there. If you're ever anywhere near Dalton, Georgia, if you live nearby, it's worth the drive to come out here at least once. I'm about a 6-hour drive to get here, and I made the drive for it. It actually took me 7 hours because I went out of the way to go get some Jack in the Box, because I love me some Jack in the Box. And I had to go a little bit out of the way to go find that. But anyways, if you want to ever come check out this place, talk to some people, learn some stuff, look at some good products, or just, spread the word of what you're doing. I gave out some business cards, gained a few followers through just talking to people there. So Mobile Hunters Expo is a great time. I'm going to link some pictures in here so that you can check it out. Anyways, I'm going to get going here. And remember that the only unsuccessful hunt is one in which you did not learn anything. Thanks, guys.